Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So we're back out on the Fluffy Duck mine site right here, which has been inundated with water, but that's all right. Got some crevices here that I'd like to have a look at. So as you can see, the water's it's not pushing hard, but it's running enough that it's cleaning it out. So I've got my little sluice set up there, little Temu sluice. I'm going to give it a crack. I haven't used it yet. And so I've got this bedrock here, and then there's this bedrock here. Right, so if I stand back a bit, there's two bits of bedrock there, one here, one there. I'm going to clean that out. So I've got me Matt's crevice tool classifier here, a bucket, a shovel. I've got a bait pump and my crevicing tool, and I'm going to see what I can get out of this. So I'm just waiting for this water to clear out. I just want to see what's in there. I've done about a third of a bucket, so about 3 litres of material there. I've got to set this sluice up a little bit better. It's just a little bit too deep for me, running a bit deep. I want to get this back end up higher, put some rocks under it, fill around the sluice, and then I'll start running in this. So our little mine site is just over there where we've been digging. So that's the tailings pile. So we've got all this bedrock, and I know there's gold in this bedrock because I've played with it before. But what I want to know is this big deep crevice here. I just want to clear it out a bit. It might help drop the water a little bit if we can get some more material out. It makes more room between the crevices for more water, and it might drop out that little bit there. Bit deeper, bit shallower. Anyway, I might be talking out my wazoo. Let's sort this out and give it a crack. So I left a comment on one of Andy Pandy's videos about bringing a little chair, and someone said, I'd like to see that. This is a little chair, just a little camping tripod. I'm going to set it up beside my sluice there and run this bucket and see what we got. It's a little bit dusty. It's still good. Centimetre perfect. That's cracking. Oh, that's not. That is. That's better. So I'm not going to do me back now. Yeah, so that's the little chair. It's only tiny, but that's all you need. So I'm going to run this third of a bucket and see what we get. So I don't really have the nicest V going on in there, in that sluice, but it'll do the job. I've already put a little shovel full through, and it's clearing out. So let's see what we've got. Oh, bingo! Bit of gold right there too, actually. few bits already. Not gonna lie, I'm not overly impressed. Just seems like there's too much going on in the sluice, and it's partly my fault. I can't get this to flow evenly. It's just the part of the creek I'm in. But I'll run the rest of this bucket and we'll see what we got. So I'll let that clear out for a little bit, and then we'll see what we got. But there'll be gold in there, but I'm just not happy with that sluice the way it cleans out. All the cells are filling up straight away with gravels, and they're not flowing out. I get it that I don't have it set up properly, but I've used sluices plenty of times before, and they generally don't take this much stuffing around with to get flowing. And there's enough flow here. There's plenty of flow, so yeah. Anyway, let's have a look. Alright, I think that's cleaned out enough. Let's get it into the pan.
Well, what if you don't? What if you fly?
It's dropped the heavies down to manageable. So instead of panning out that whole third of a bucket, I'm only just panning out a little bit here. And if I had more buckets, which I do, but I'm just having to play for now, you could possibly run quite a fair amount of material once you classify it down. But I just wanted to see what was in these crevices. So they have had chunky gold before. Sometimes it's flat. There's not very many micros here. It seems to be more, not nugget or nothing, but it's a lot of pickers. It's good. I like it. Let's see what we got here. Let me just re-stratify that. A lot of heavies in there, ironstone and stuff. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah. So that's a third of a bucket. Oh, where are you? A third of a bucket. Yeah, just a little bit, not a lot. But it'd be nice to clean out that crevice. Look at it creeping its way down into the hole. It's like an avalanche. So I thought I'd give you a look at what I'm high banking at the moment. Just a little spot down from Fluffy Duck. So I've got the Max Crevice Tools 10-inch. Hang on, I'll turn this off. A bit loud. So I've got the Max Crevice Tool 10-inch high banker here. We'll probably run about 50 shovels through it today. And we're just getting into this area here. And I know it's annoying, but I actually love the way this silt moves through the water. But it can bugger off now. So far, I reckon I've got about half a gram out from this area. And it's probably down about 2 foot. Lots of big rocks in there. And then you get to these gravels. And I don't know how deep the gravels are, because I know that there's bedrock just up there. And I know that there's bedrock over there. So how long it'll take me to get to the bedrock, I don't know, but there seems to be this thick thick amount of gravels down there, and you can see from all the silt. So yeah, look, I've run 10 shovels through this. I'm going to run another 20, and then we'll get back to you. We'll see what we got. So that's 30 shovels. Just going to let that clear out, and then I'm going to take out the top mat and the second apron, and we'll have a look. Alright, so that's been washed out. What I do like about Matt's highbanker, it's got the quick release pins here. I can't really do it one-handed, but makes taking this out so much bloody easier. So like I said, we've got the top mat here, and we've got the second apron here. Grizzly bar. Let's have a look at what we got. Already got a nice piece of gold just up the back here. Let's see what else could be floating around in there. There's a frog in there somewhere. Yeah, so I got my first bit of lead. There we go. And some kind of sort of thick stickers, I guess, like this one here. It's not a picker, but it's certainly not a small piece. So yeah, that's both mats, top and bottom. Not a hell of a lot of gold, but I'm so used to getting good gold out of the other end, the other mine site. Maybe I'll go down there and keep digging and see what we can get. So here's one tip I've learnt: test panning. Now, if you're on a new spot, you want to test pan, but this is not a new spot for me. This is a stretch of creek where I've basically tested all the way along it. I know there's gold in there. The only thing is the spot I'm digging now seems to be petering out. What I'm going to do is move more downstream, and what I'm going to use the highbanker for is I run 10 shovels through it, and then I test that. And it's just as easy as doing test pans. In fact, it's probably a little bit easier because you've already got the highbanker set up. It's got quick release pins to get the top mat out, and once I let it clean out, get that out, put it in the pan, it's as good as doing test pans. And you actually get more out of it because, 3 shovels is usually 1 pan. I'm doing 10 shovels, so that's 3 pans. That's going to give me a better indication of what is in that spot. So what I'm going to do now is move down from where I've been digging and have a look at that. Do a 10 shovel test, and then we'll get back and see what's in there. Now this is cool. So a couple of little boil holes here. You can actually see the way that the water's spinning into that hole. So you got to imagine when there's a couple of little pebbles in there, like so, it will just spin them around and around and drill out that hole. Anyway, that's a bit of fun for you. There's a couple more here. One down there. There's quite a big one there. Could be some gold in there. I doubt it, but you never know. All right, let's go shovel some dirt. So I'm not actually getting a lot of dirt and small gravels out of this hole, so I'm going to try and expand it a bit more. All I'm pulling out at the moment is small, you know, golf ball, cricket ball size yonnies. So I want to try and find that smaller stuff mixed in with the dirt. That's where the gold seems to sit in this section of the creek. Yeah, I might do 20 shovels instead of 10. I think I've done about 10 as it is. Maybe I'll do 20, maybe I'll do 30, but I want to get down to that gravel and start seeing that dirt, that silt come out with it. That's when you sort of know it's mixed in there. So, especially this creek. That's not true of every creek, but this spot here, that's what I've worked out, and that's what I'm going to look for right now. So yeah, let's go. That's a little bit better. Small gravel, bit of silt, bit of dirt. If I can get a few more of those, I'll be wrapped. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's got a good mixture of these rocks. And then it's got this muddy clay. That's where the gold seems to be here. That's what I'm going for. Now the other thing is, I spoke about the bedrock. This hole I'm digging now is well above the gumboot, so you're talking 2 foot, and it's still bringing out gravels and silt. So, and I know that just over there, the bedrock isn't far away. You're talking maybe, I don't know, 2 foot, 3 foot underwater. So I should be getting close to it. And once I do, I mean, I'll bait pump it. Yeah, my experience with this creek is the gold's always sitting just in that bit of silt, mud, and small fine gravels just above the bedrock. So hopefully we dig through whatever this layer is, because I can still feel some big rocks in there, and get through it. Alright, so there's still some big rocks coming out from down here, which is a little bit annoying because you think you're on the bedrock because you can't lift your shovel up, but it just turns out it's a big rock. But I'm going to pull some of these out and keep getting down to this gravel. That's where I reckon the gold is. That's in my experience where the gold's always been. So let's keep going. Another 5 shovels, I'll give it a test. Righto, I'm going to let that clean out, and then we'll have a look at what's in the mat. Yeah, in other news, I just had my oldest mate just pass away from liver failure. So if any of you fellas out there are hitting the terps too hard, maybe think about fucking cutting it down a bit. I've certainly put my drink into perspective. Yeah, when you see a bloke turn bronze and his eyes go fluoro yellow, and then 2 weeks later he's brown bread, it really sort of puts things into perspective. And he's only my age, he's only 45. So yeah, any fellas out there, maybe this is a little sign. It certainly is for me. You don't want to be leaving your kids behind like that, like he did. Not that he meant it, but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to have a look in this mat and see if I can see anything. The only issue I have with this mat is it's very, very deep. So the gold tends to go straight to the bottom. I did see some in there before, but I do like it when I can see it. But I just can't see it in this map. That's all right, the gold's in there and that's what's important. So I'm going to do a test here. So this is about 30 shovels of that area there. I did move ground, I moved a bit of that, a bit forward. And then came back here, started breaking off this stuff here. You can see all the dirt in that. You see here, you can see all that dirt. That just keeps going down, and when you're onto that stuff, that seems to be where it sits. So I'm gonna test this and see what we got. Back in a second. Okay, so I'm not even mad at that. There's some good size stickers in there and a little bit of lead. Now, I know I did 30 shovels, but I think the first 20 I did was mostly stones, not a lot of gravel. Which is exactly what I said I was looking for, was the gravel with the silt and the dirt and the mud. So what I'm going to do now is, I've got a feeling when I was breaking away this gravel here, this dirt just underneath the rocks, it's fallen into that pit, and then I'm scooping that out, and it's deep. It's well above me. It's well above my gumboot. If I can get that dirt and that gravel and get into the highbanker, that's where I think the gold's going to be. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. So I'm going to do another 30 shovel run, but only of the gravels. I'm not going to count any big rocks. Just going to count the shovels of mixed gravels and mud and see what we get out of it. Righto, well, let's go. So I wasn't overly impressed with that run. What I'm going to do here, I'll show you. What I'm going to do here is pump out the silt from my hole. So I've swapped my pump over to the other side of that there's a little gravel bar there type thing where I haven't dug. I'm going to pump this silt out and see what we're looking at. Might put it on time lapse just for fun. Alright, what I think I'm going to do is take that out. That's one section we haven't done, so there's a nice big hole there. This is my big hole. That was Vic's. I'm going to take that out, run that down as deep as it'll go, and get back to you. Righto, so it hasn't been the best of days here. Hasn't been too bad, but I've had a lot better. I also showed me beard. I was trimming it the other day, I accidentally trimmed it too short, so I just went, knocked it off and start again. Did the hair at home as well, hey? A little help from my friends. Well, help from my wife anyway. Anyway, this is my last run. I'm gonna take the top mat out and the bottom mat out and see what we got, and then I'll dump the sluice mat into a bucket, and I'll do that at home. Some stage I've got 2 weeks off looking after the kids while it's stay-at-home dad for 2 weeks. So yeah, should be fun. Trying to get rid of my fat rolls there on my chin. So anyway, I'm going to clean this out and let's see what we got. That'll be home time. Alright, so that's the top mat. For what is probably about a 25-minute run, not overly impressed with it. Probably a good spot to come back to when you've got no gold at all. Just one of those spots where if you're just tonguing for a bit of colour, you can come down here and smash that. I think I'm going to clean this bottom mat out. It should have less than that, but I think the game has changed. So one of two things has happened. Down at Fluffy Duck, bit too much water. We've got to wait till it drops off a bit, so we've moved up a bit to this next spot, which we knew had gold, but it looks like it's petered out a little bit. So one or two options. Do a bit of prospecting next time I'm here. Which way? I don't know. We've got a couple of spots pinned, but we haven't really tested them yet. This spot here, once the water drops, I know if I go a little bit upstream, some really good gold. I think Vic got about 1 gram and a bit out of there once, just fuffing around for about 2 hours. So, and the other thing is, yeah, I either prospect for another spot, or we go back down to Fluffy Duck and just deal with the water. It's not too bad. It was pretty bad the other day, but now it's dropped a bit. But we just need to drop maybe another foot. But we've cleared the rocks out of the way to let a bit more through. But the water's not going to drop below the bedrock. Like that's, you can't dig that out. You can get an excavator down here, but you're not going to get an excavator in here. You're not allowed to anyway. But you can't drop it any further than the bedrock, and we've cleared a path, and it has dropped a little bit. We need to drop more. Anyway, I'm going to clear this second mat out and have a look. Yeah, so that's the second mat, the apron. Got another little bit of lead in there. Haven't seen a lot of lead today, only about 3 pieces. So I'm going to clean that up, then I'll do a snuffer dump, and I'll, like I said, I'll put the sluice mat in a bucket and do it at home. Yeah, I just find with the sluice mat, it's just a lot easier to do at home because I just tip it into a bucket, run it through a couple of sieves, and it's just a lot easier than doing it on the creek. So it's quite a long mat. So anyway, we'll get this cleaned up, do a snuffer dump, and call it a day. I know it's already called a day, but we'll do it again, twice. All right, before I get too carried away, let's have a look at the gold. All right, so did all right. I mean, I wouldn't be complaining if this was anywhere else, but yeah, here I'm just not used to that. My gimbal's going stupid again. Hang on. Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. It's probably about 0.5 gram. Pretty good. Pretty good. So my gimbal is going nuts. Yeah, I'll get that home and cleaned up and weighed up. So not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Yeah, nice little smile there. Beautiful. This lid comes in very handy. You pop it on here, and you can take the legs off, stick them inside the unit, the body of the highbanker. I actually carry a few things in there. I carry my camera stand, my spray bar, my legs. Sometimes I throw in a drink bottle and whatever. It goes on your back, you don't even notice it. Anyway, let's get the legs off. Camera stand. Spray bar. Water bottle. And this is actually the case for my camera gimbal. And just for prosperity's sake. And it goes as well. Now, backpack highbanker. Looks on the back pretty good. A bit rattly, but you know. Battery. All in all, it's a good unit. Doesn't have to be perfect, just knock it down so it's not such an eyesore. Yeah, pretty easy. Alright, so that's it for now, guys. I'll get this cleaned up and weigh it up at home, get the sluice mat cleaned up, and hopefully have a weigh up for you at the end of the video. Well, I will. But yeah, anyway, I'll be back shortly. Just got to drive home and do all that other fun stuff that you don't see when the camera's off. Alright, see you at home. Yeah, so got it home, got it dried up, got it weighed. As you can see, it's just shy of a gram. That did include some stuff from last time I was up there, which was about 2 weeks ago, so about 0.2. So I'm going to call it a 0.8 day, 0.7 day yesterday, which is not too shabby. So I'm not going to complain about that. Yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys in the future. Peace out.